What's happening, watch fans? Welcome back to Forward Momentum. I'm your host, Todd Searle, and in season 2, we're talking about independent watchmaking and telling the story of independent watchmaking, where it's come from, what it is today, and where it's going. Today, it is my extreme pleasure to welcome Luca Soprana to the podcast. He has watchmaking in his blood. He's worked in the industry for a long time. He's worked for big brands like Patek Philippe and Rolex. He's worked in restoration, concept development for other brands. He's a watchmaker's watchmaker. He's focused on the development of the mechanical side of watchmaking, and it really is his first true love. He's a deep thinker. He's someone who is spinning many plates at all times, to which I can relate. And he's just a very enjoyable human with whom to spend time. We first met at Watches and Wonders 2023, and it's my extreme pleasure to welcome Luca Soprana to Forward Momentum.
Thank you very much.
Luke, how are you doing today?
Very nice introduction. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Today I'm going fine. From time to time, you hear the barking of my dog that is always next to me in the in the workshop. So if you get some funny noise, you know that is she actually.
What kind of dog do you have?
I have a Lagotto. That is a truffle dog. Italian truffle dog.
Okay. So are you, aside from making watches, are you out hunting for truffles
I would love
when you get
to
a
have
chance?
the time. I would like to have the chance. But I try to train her to become a good truffle hunter. Yeah. I love truffle. So
I think you're not in a minority there. I think most people love truffle. So I think it's worth pointing out, because you mentioned the Italian breed of dog, that you are also Italian, and that it's worth pointing out here that not all watchmakers and not all independent watchmakers are Swiss. However, most of them end up in Switzerland at one point or another. And I'd kind of love to hear your story about what got you started in watchmaking. How did you initially get interested or hear about watchmaking?
Yeah, I mean, it's nice because I was always dealing with watches, because I come from a family that we have 4th-generation watchmakers. And my grandfather already come to Switzerland to get trained. And then he went working in Argentina for Ulysse-Nardin and Vacheron Constantin. Then he came back to Italy. And also my grandfather then was training watchmaking, and he learned from him. And then he also came to Switzerland. And so me, as the 4th generation, I was also sent to Switzerland to get the training to the Swiss standard. And I was supposed to go back to Italy, but finally never come back. I always postpone, and now is 22 years that I am in Switzerland, so I don't think I'm going to go back to Italy. But my grandfather was still upset since he passed away about the fact that I never came back. But at the end, he accepted the fact that was a better chance in watchmaking in Switzerland than in Italy.
Yeah, absolutely. And you came to Switzerland to go to WOSTEP, is that correct?
Yeah. I had the chance that being helped by Michel Parmigiani to go to WOSTEP. And so I managed to do the refresher course. And then the situation was very good. I was lucky to have very good training by Stephen McDonnell and Kari Butilainen. At the time was the chief of the teacher there. And then I was always planning to go back to Italy, but at the end of every year, I say, I stay one more year because I want also to be able to do this and to do that. And at the end, I never moved back, because that's the cool thing about Switzerland, the watchmaking world, is that it's such a huge environment full of such different world of watchmaking and being such different way of being watchmaker, that you never stop to learn and discover new things. So, I started as a watchmaker doing basically after service and following developments. And then I end up having the chance to create watches, develop watches, prototype watches, and, work on complications. So all the time something new was coming. So there was always an extremely good chance to go forward and discover something new. So
Yeah, absolutely. You hit on something there. It sounds like the watchmaking world and the world of independent watchmaking in particular is really collaborative. Have you found that to sort of be the case as you've gone and progressed through your career?
yeah, I think, I mean, me, I was very lucky because I was learning for Viane. I worked in Viane Arte for 5 years. I was very lucky to get there. I have the chance to really learn basically everything I know now, or big base, or all the base that I developed. And but yeah, especially I would say the young generation, they are much more collaborative than they were in the past. In the past was such a big fight to succeed that watchmaker, they were like more keeping secrets and more trying to just take care of their survival, I would say. And with new generations, and maybe we all suffered so much of the fact that it was so difficult to get trained, that I think it changed a little bit our approach in the way of doing. But I mean, me, I was very lucky because honestly, Diana was really open-minded, ready to explain. There was no secret, and give the chance to everybody to do things that you can never do in industry.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's amazing. And so from WoStep, if you were a brand new watchmaker, what are the routes to becoming an independent watchmaker that are available to you?
I mean, I think what is really important, and now is such a huge success in independent watchmaking, that they forget. But the main thing is the patience. So you need to be patient and be ready to wait years to learn and to improve your skill to start to get independent. Because being independent is not just a question of skills; it's also a question of mind setting, understanding. Taking care of a workshop is totally different to just fix a watch or make a watch on your own. So you have to develop skills of taking care of a team, deal with your team, and all this kind of thing. That is very different. So I think it's really important to have the patience to wait the time that you need. I mean, for example, Kari told us when we were in WoStep, say, okay, to become a watch to say that you are a watchmaker, you need to wait at least work in watchmaking world at least for 10 years. And then in 10 years, you can say, I am a watchmaker. And I quite agree with it. I think you really need time to get to understand what is really is this world, and the technique that you need, discover, have the chance to experiment things and make errors, and discover a little bit all the complete side of the watchmaking world. Now is a little bit too easy to become independent, because it's a good period for independence. So there is a big demand, there is a big interest. Customers are totally changed from the past. Internet bring the chance to sell the watch through internet, to communicate, to present yourself. In the past was not like this. So only big brands can have access to big customers. And so this, for me, creates from time to time a situation where people are not ready, but they give a try. And that is not bad. I mean, it is part of the evolution. That's also very good. A lot of the independents are coming in. There's a lot of things coming. So this is the good part. But maybe for the stability and for the job, it is better to be patient.
Yeah. I think about this all the time about how people arrive at independent watchmaking. And I feel like people go through periods where they work for bigger brands. They sort of learn the basics. They maybe move somewhere else where they learn more traditional watchmaking or more classical watchmaking skills, or more refined skills. And then you might work in sort of concepting for a little bit for someone else. And at that point, you might arrive at an idea that feels wholly yours, and like you're ready to present it to the world. But it seems like it's a long road to get to being an independent watchmaker, and there are many avenues that you could take to get there. Not just, hey, you went to WOSTEP, great. Here's your school watch. You're an independent watchmaker, and that seems like it's more popular now, or more prevalent now than it was. Because of the internet and Instagram, and because people can contact you from anywhere around the world at that point.
Yeah, I totally agree. You need time to develop your identity. That's what I would say. Now I think was very helpful for me to work for different brands and develop watches for others to learn to study the identity of the brand. What we do in our workshop, we call it signature mécanique. So we give to the customer a kind of a mechanical identity, mechanical logo or signature. And this helped me a lot to see a lot of style and find the style that fits to my idea of watchmaking and to my identity, and try to get an identity that I feel is mine. I mean, I'm not searching to make something that is totally different from the others, or is something that the customer is saying, wow. I'm just trying to design a watch that fits to my taste, and is to fit to something that I would not say that is an expression of my person, because I don't want to express in watches. I still am an artisan. I want to do the things right. I want to do I want to have a good quality and good, and it have to look nice in the respect of the traditional watchmaking. That is not just traditional technique, but it's just style, proportion, and combination of finishing and this kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So is your philosophy on watchmaking more on the mechanical side, or more on sort of the finishing and aesthetic side?
I love mechanics. For me, basically the watch have to run right, time properly, and of course it have also to look nice, but also the beauty of the mechanics needs finishing. But it's not that the watch is beautiful because the finishing is really easy to understand, but to understand the quality of the finishing, for me, is more important to judge the proportion and the sense of the finishing.
Yeah.
So that's why for me it's more important mechanics, but it doesn't mean that finishing is not important. It's just that the two things they must be equilibrated. But of course, for me, mechanics is the fundamental thing.
Okay. So I want to kind of come on to your atelier and starting your atelier. Obviously, you worked for a number of other brands. You worked with another of other amazing independent watchmakers. Obviously, you've mentioned Vianney, Kari, Stephen McDonnell. And so it comes time for you to open your own atelier. How did that come about? How did you sort of start a workshop?
I basically start because I went, after I was working for Patek and Rolex, I was not able to keep a proper job for a long time. And then I said, how is possible? And then I decided to go to an analyst and say, well, what's the problem? Why I cannot fit? And he told me, you cannot fit because you are somebody that is independent. You have to make things, but things have to make sense to you. You cannot just follow rules. You have to do the things, follow the rules, but you have to understand the rules and respect also your ethical approach to watchmaking and to the world. So finally, after these two experiences that were really strict and really like army experience, I would say, I decided to open a workshop where I wanted to have a workshop that feels like I want it to be. And of course, as you mentioned, Steven and Kari and Viana, they were basically teachers for me, and they some way they showed me the way. Steven was mostly the fact that was always somebody that really transmits me the passion for the watchmaking, for do the job in a certain way. And of course, Kari was a model how he succeed, and Viana was a model for how I would like to have a workshop. A little bit messy, but with a lot of things, and to be really independent to do all your components, and every watchmaker that is learning every day something new.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I have likened your workshop to a bit of a Michelin-starred kitchen, where maybe it's a little messier than a Michelin-starred kitchen is, but everybody is, you've got your team working and everybody's learning something new every day, or sort of getting their hands dirty doing something else that pushes their skills and their experience, so that they learn and really become, I think what I would say, like fully competent, well-rounded watchmakers. Is that fair?
Yeah. I think it's exactly like that, because for me the good thing about the English word, the watchmakers, to be a watchmaker you need to be able to make watches. Now we are in an industry where basically everybody gets trained to become a watch assembler, watch repairer, but very few they get the chance to become really a watchmaker, to be able to make the part of the watch, to understand the mechanical problematics, all this kind of stuff. And this is what makes the difference, and this is what I want in my workshop.
Yeah.
So that's really fundamental for the workshop and for my vision of the workshop.
Yeah, I think that's really helpful. I think it gives a lot of color around your philosophy on watchmaking, and your sort of theory on watchmaking and what it means to be a watchmaker. Because I know that's I understand that that's a very important title for you,
Mm-hmm.
and it was not an easily won title. You have a lot of experience, you have a lot of skills, you've had a lot of opportunities to work with amazing people. That's kind of built that skill set for you.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's exactly what you said. It's exactly right. I mean, it's not that I don't have a talent. I just have a strong will, and I had the chance to meet person that they help me to discover new thing. And and I am crazy enough sometimes to take the risk to do things that I don't know if one day they will work or they will will be a success. But all these three things together give me the chance. I mean, the base thing is the will, the effort, the mentality of being hard worker and serious worker. These three things combined together, they bring you to the opportunity to then develop your knowledge. It's like going to school. If you don't study, you don't learn.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I would disagree with you on the talent part there. I think you're very talented, but we can debate that another time. So we've spoken about your atelier. I think it's worth pointing out the name of your atelier, which is Atelier 7H38. Pardon me, I won't do it in French because I don't want to absolutely ruin it. But could you kind of tell the story behind the name of the atelier?
Yeah. So the workshop was named Atelier 7H38. Okay. In French is Atelier 7h38, and is connected to time. And it was the hour when the first kid of the group of partners, when we founded the workshop, was born. So we always find it cool, and we are really a group of people that we have. Me, I have 3 kids. My business partner have 3 kids. We are really family orientated and kids orientated. So for us, it's very important. I always wanted to keep, because they put the two things together: the time,
Yeah,
and the family, and somehow the future, because our kids are our future. And I hope maybe one day one of my kids will take over my workshop.
So do any of them spend time in the workshop with you now? Do they show any interest in hanging out with you at the workshop?
So I forced them to the workshop as my father and my grandfather were used to do. Me was a nightmare. Was a kid like 7 years old watching my grandfather fixing watches 2-3 hours in the afternoon. Was tough job, and so I tried to force them less than what I was forced when I was young. But I tried to bring them here. But for the time being, my older kid is a very good skier and is basically focusing on skiing, and is not very often. He's traveling a lot. He's doing sports every day, so doesn't have a lot of free time. But the other two youngers, they come from time to time to the workshop, and then when they are home from school and we don't have nobody taking care of them, they come with me. They are in the workshop, so is I try to bring them the interest to the but I don't want to be like it was for me, that it was something that it was obligation and some kind your path is already straight and you have to go this direction. And because what happened with me was this, that since a very young age next to my grandfather fixing watches, watching, learning, be in the workshop, be in the shop, at some stage I decided I don't want to do watchmaking. And for 5 years I was at university doing economics and communication studies. Then after when I finished, I came back because I said, okay, it's not my job. But at some stage I have to have some kind of make some kind of family revolution.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've got a pretty amazing team at your workshop. I'm curious, as you guys are working throughout the day, are you listening to music in the workshop, or are people listening to music individually? What can you take us through what goes on day to day in the workshop?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's listening to his own music. From time to time, when we are fewer and we have a little bit the same taste of music, we listen to the same music. Maybe that happens especially when we have long nights, and maybe me and Stuart, he listened to a crazy American podcast with all the weirdo music. And for me, when I listen to this radio, I always have good memories, because it was the memory when we were just me and him doing long nights, trying to finishing watches for Basel Fair, things like this. And but now that we are 5, it's difficult to everybody have the same taste, so everybody got earplugs and listen a little bit what he wants. But where we get all together, we talk, is the fact that I really like coffee, so we have a nice coffee machine, so we take coffee together 3-4 times a day, 5 times a day. So we are all this morning we discuss, and then when we share problems that we have using machine, doing things. So these are the moments where the community is really together. But at the end of the day, for me, watchmaking, especially as we do it, is something that is solitary work. We are a team. We need each other to finish our project. But at the end of the day, there are moments where it's just you against your beast, your big problem, and try to solve it. And of course, you ask for a solution from the others. But then after, when you have to make things, you need to be alone, concentrate, and do your own thing.
That's really interesting. Do you find yourself enjoying the puzzle, and do you every once in a while hang on to a question that you're working on to see if you can challenge yourself to figure it out, rather than asking for help right away?
yeah, I learned from my stupidity in the past to ask all the time. I mean, my grandfather taught me one good sentence that I always keep with me. He was always telling me, anyway, also from the shoemaker, you can learn some watchmaking. Yeah. So, I mean, everybody can give you an idea, can give you a suggestion that can be good. And then it's up to you to see if it fits with your thing or not. Of course, at the beginning, I tried to fight alone, but I also like to hear other person advice.
Yeah,
because everybody can express his opinion as long as he uses his brain. I mean, then it's also good, when you have to express your problem, you already understand better your problem. When you put it in words, already to explain the problem that you have obliges you to have a mindset that allows you to understand better the problems. And maybe in this time you already see the solution. Or maybe when the person you make him a question and the person don't understand what you're asking, when you try to explain it better, you little by little you discover sometime the solution. So that's also something that I find very, very important. This side of communication, because it's very helpful to do problem solving.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's fascinating too, that you have to have the right words to explain the problem to somebody else. And if you aren't explaining the problem correctly to someone, you're either going to get a solution that doesn't fit the problem, or you don't have a good enough understanding of the problem to be able to share it to ask for a solution. So it forces you to learn a little bit as you go.
Yeah, exactly like this. You got it right.
And has that been your style as a watchmaker, is kind of more learn as you go? Or did you set out kind of specific goals for yourself that you wanted to learn how to do certain things within watchmaking, or has it been a journey of kind of learning, seeing what's possible, and then trying to stretch yourself to be able to do either the next complication or to bring a movement to life? And I'm thinking specifically here in your partnership with Jacob & Co. In helping them develop watches and the crazy stuff that you were asked to do, finding solutions to those problems too.
Yeah, I mean, my vision in things, it really goes with my passion, that is mountains and hiking. So it's always like this. I see a mountain, a problem, something where I want to get, and I start walking to get there. And then, the biggest success is always to reach the peak of the mountain, but then after also be able to come back home. That's also what is beautiful in mountain. That there is a challenge to reach the peak, but after is also a challenge also to come back.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's the same thing for me in watchmaking. I never say, I want to do this, I want to do that. No, little by little, all the things appear. I discover new thing. It is like, this kind of geographists of the 19th century that they were discovering the world. It was a little bit like this. I see something new and I say, I want to learn this. I want to get there. And then I start working to get to the result that I want. That's really my philosophy in watchmaking. And that's how I learned. I mean, like this learning by trials, errors, and efforts.
Amazing. I will refer people out, and I will link the In the Metal podcast that you did that speaks about your experience working on the Jacob & Co. Forgive me, I think it's the Astronomia. Is that right?
Yeah, Astronomia.
Astronomia. Yeah. That watch is incredible, but I will refer people out to that video because it's a deep dive. the things you did to make that watch work are insane. And the to me, the balancing act and the way that you discuss the having to balance the materials, one side to the other, and testing paints and enamels, and we can't use that because it's 1 gram too heavy now, and the whole thing doesn't work. I feel like that would give people an appreciation for how strict the tolerances can be within watchmaking, and how just how carefully you have to consider balances and approaches. And with micromechanics, we can, as humans, using your thoughts on hiking, we can think about hiking up a mountain with a 50-pound backpack. It's going to be really heavy. If you cut that to 20 pounds, that's a lot lighter. And that's probably going to be more comfortable. And you have to think about the wear and tear on a much smaller scale. But it still exists. And so I will refer people to that podcast, because I think the way you describe making that watch is incredible.
Yeah, I think it's really also explaining, how it works for us. Since we are a team, and I am somebody that sometimes I really say I want to do this, but sometimes I don't have a clue that I was going to work, or you cannot. I mean, I'm not an astrophysical engineer, so I don't fix all the problems. I don't make all the calculations. I just say, okay, go. And then when you finalize the construction that you thought, and then you have to solve the problems that you did not consider. And for example, for astronomy, this was the biggest problem that I never took in consideration, because for me at the beginning, the big challenge was making this triple axe tourbillon rotating and getting the dial always straight and things like this. But there are all problems that at the end of the day for me are secondary, and at the end of the day, I discovered there is a major problem only when I finish the watch. For example, one of classic things on my watches is that most of the time I make now less, because I get used, but I made huge mistake on the setting system very often, because it's the part that is somehow the most simple.
Yeah.
And then I say, okay, it's fine. And then when I finish the watch, I have problems like the hands turning 2 times too fast, or that is very a basic calculation, very simple to do. But sometimes it's like this.
Yeah, it's like the core fundamental part of a watch, but you were focused on the much bigger problems, like the stuff that you didn't know if you could do, like that stuff you can go back and fix, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's also the part that I like of how we work. That if it's something wrong, we are not obliged to stay where we were. I can redo the watch from scratch to solve the problem. I don't want to fix the problem just like making the minimal effort. So if there is a problem and the problem needs a major modification, I do the major modification. I do everything from scratch. There is no worry. I don't want to keep what was there before, because I'm kind of a lazy, or I have this kind of economical thought that, okay, I have 10 of these pinions, I want to use it. So no, I remake the piece from scratch till it gets to the performance that I want. That's how I work, and that's why, for example, for us, prototyping is a fundamental part of the work.
Yeah, that's incredible. I think there are many people who would take that same approach, but I don't know that there are that many who would take that same approach, who might approach it from the quickest solve possible. And so I think that's incredible that you're willing to basically, in prototyping too, take a watch that may work, but isn't the best possible expression of it, tear it apart, figure out what you could improve, and then improve it and launch that improved model.
But also what we do sometimes when prototype get out, now also prototype gets sold. So of course we get a watch of the quality of the final watch, finishing everything, but it's still the really first piece that we produce. That's also why I don't wear a watch, because also prototype we we are obliged to sell to make a living.
It's worth noting that Luca and I had a little bit of a sidebar discussion before this about what watch he was wearing, and he made it very clear he wasn't wearing a watch. So if you own a prototype of one of the watches that he's made, you own the watch that he was going to be wearing. So you're directly responsible for why Luca isn't wearing a watch today.
Yes, you are.
That's I think the prototyping work that you do is incredible. And I think that's a route to independent watchmaking that most people don't understand, is that being a conceptor or prototyping for other brands is a means of being an independent watchmaker, because you are being paid for your work, your time, your development, your ideas, but you're not putting your name on the watch at the end of the day. But it is a way, I think, to be an independent watchmaker. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah. For me, is absolutely. It was very funny. It's no more a big secret, but I launched a little bit of my watches as an independent watchmaker, and one of the two watches that I designed, it was without logo. There was no name on the dial, and everybody was asking why there is no name on the dial. They were, because I never imagined a watch to put my name on the dial. I just, for me, what is sometimes the writing on the dial is it disturbs me. It's so difficult to find a nice police and now how you call it, font, a nice font.
Yeah.
And find it, put it in the right way, and all these kind of things. So for me, is not the base of my work. Put my name on the watch. For me, is to make something that works. That is a watch. Then, if there is another name on the watch, is not the base. Yeah, my name is not the core of my passion, of my vision of being independent. Now being independent for a lot of people is just put your name on the dial. For me, being independent is be able to do all your components, do your construction, make your own watch, train your team, create a workshop that makes watches, and don't need to use a lot of suppliers for do your things, but be able to conceive completely what you do. And then after, if there's somebody else's name on it, what's the problem?
Yeah.
Not they're being great watchmakers working for Breguet and working for fantastic brands in the past, and they never had the need to put their name. They put some hidden signature here and there, but there was no basic need to put the name in front.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I love that that's your philosophy on watchmaking. And I think it's a unique philosophy, because I think there are a lot of people who want to put their name on the dial and to be really front and center with the brand. And I think your approach is unique. And you mentioned creating your own watches. I kind of want to go on to Derek, because I think most people will know you from the Derek Pratt series that you did with Perpetuel. And I'd love to talk to you about your connection to Derek and what's so important about preserving Derek's legacy for you.
Derek has always been an absolute reference when I was watchmaker in Switzerland. Already at the time was very famous between the watchmaker, that they have knowledge, but it was not at all famous for the big public. even if it was doing great things. And then it was always a figure that always have a huge fascination for me, because he is really somebody that managed always to follow his way and do real watchmaking without, as we said before, without being front. Sometime made watches for Robert Jurgensen, developed watches for them, made beautiful thing, and he did not put his name on it. There are very few that watch that have the name of Derek, but he was doing incredible things, experimental escapements, fantastic pocket watch, handling all the techniques perfectly. And so this big fascination at the end of the day arrived, was with me. And when we opened the workshop, I have a watchmaker working, was the first watchmaker that I worked with, that is still in the workshop. And he was the guy in charge of the first prototype of Derek watches that was presented at the symposium that British Horological Society did. And first thing I asked him was like, several years that we don't meet. Now we were start working together. I said, but what happened with the Derek watch? It's a pity. It was beautiful watch, and why it stopped there? Finally, they did the prototype, and then the watch cannot continue because they have still some technical issue. Derek passed away, so they didn't have the time to finalize the watch. And I proposed to the family on my free time to redesign the watch and make it work correctly to the standard, and maybe if once the watch was working, to sell it, to preserve the name, and to have the chance to have more wristwatch, because Derek never did a wristwatch in his life, to have more wristwatch that can have a wider public, to bring the general knowledge of Derek to the level where he was supposed to be, like not only for passionate, but also to normal people, because we don't forget. I mean, Derek won the Tampio medal, gold, silver, Gaia Prize. Two of his watches, they are in the Science Museum in London. So we cannot say that he is not a famous watchmaker. I mean, he succeed in recognition that it is incredible. I mean, I cannot even imagine to have a watch in the Science Museum in London, you know. And then we start to get the watch we are getting running. The movement came out very, very nice. It was a huge work to make it thinner, to give him a look that was respecting the design of Derek. And all the time I have to have the agreement of Jenny and the family about the design and things like this. And so we finally get the watch running. We were ready to propose the watch, and all of a sudden we discover that somebody stole the name of Derek. So we cannot sell the watch. And so we have to get, for nearly 5 years, Jenny and the family, they get in a legal fight to get the name back. So after 10 years, after the death of Derek, the guy that bought the name finally never made a watch with the name Derek Pratt, so the name was free again. And so we managed through court to get the name back. And then after this moment, we start to propose the watch to the public. So it's really a history that where, I mean, for me was a human challenge to promote Derek legacy and to preserve the name of Derek. There are two things together, because very often we all just see the fact that the Derek Pratt watch is out. People like it, like the design, like the mechanics, how it's done. But very few people since they don't know the story, they don't understand the importance of making a watch with the name Derek Pratt. Because as long as the watch exists, the family can preserve the name. If not, your trademark falls.
Yeah.
And that's actually what happened to get back the name. I mean, the guy was not making watches, so the family can claim back the name. But nowadays, I mean, if you don't preserve, you don't protect your name, anybody can steal your name if you don't have a trademark on it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's scary, but it's also, I love that you've sort of taken this project on, and that you're working with his family, and that you're preserving his legacy, because he is one of those watchmakers who I think is very well known amongst watchmakers, but not well known amongst the general public. And I have seen the watch in person. It's absolutely stunning. I think it's an incredible watch. Just the way everything comes together, from the case to the dial to the movement. Really, I think when we were together, Luca, I spent about 45 minutes just staring at the movement, and just enjoying it. So it really is an incredible watch. I'm sure the family is grateful for your efforts to preserve Derek's legacy and to promote his legacy. And if you have the opportunity to check it out, it's truly a special watch, and it's very, very incredible. So congratulations to you and the team.
Thank you very much. Thank you. For me, is very important. It's always important to listen what people think, and to have this approach that the people see some of Derek's work in the piece. And for me, it's important that the watch is a success, because for me, Derek is somebody that in his life deserved more success than he had. Basically, was somebody that never wanted to be famous, just want to have his nice life and enjoy a penny fart bicycle and do his pot boat and ride bicycle. And his watchmaking was his passion, but his name was never his passion. A little bit like, and this is also what I learned from him. I learned from his person, his family, the idea that you can do very well your work, and the most important thing is what you do, is not your name.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. That's a really great sentiment. And I think it's so cool that you have learned from him and his family, and you still have Jenny and the family to kind of learn from, and to see how Derek's work can influence you, and how his philosophy can influence you. And I think it has. Like I can see today from our conversation that it has. So
they're very strict. Huh? Jenny is. I call her the boss. She's she, and I think it's important because he is the wife, so you have to preserve the name of her husband. And yes, it's important that she really puts limit to several things to avoid things that are not logic, or they don't respect what it was supposed to be, how it was supposed to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure we'll have more conversations on Derek and on those, on what you're doing with Derek's watches in the future. I kind of want to turn to you now. I kind of want to hear what's coming next from Luca Soprana. What are you working on, and maybe what's a watch that you would love to make?
I think that I'm lucky enough, because very often other brands, they ask me to make the watch that I would love to do. And at the end of the day, I think I'm lucky enough to have done so much different things that I did a lot of things. I mean, there is no watch that I did that I didn't have pleasure in doing it. For me, it's not important that it's classic watchmaking, high-end watchmaking. For me, it's interesting that is a watch is you have something original, something different, mechanical challenge involved in the watch, and yes, I would like to do one day one Grand Sonnerie, just to do something that I didn't did till now. Yeah, or maybe this would be a great challenge. But yeah, of course, these are also challenges that if you want to do it on your own, it takes so much time to do it in the way that I want to do it, that you need to have somebody that is going to support you in this challenge. That is either a brand asking you for a development, or a customer crazy enough to wait 5 years to get some crazy watch. But now customers are getting used to be patient to get their watch. So.
Some are, maybe not all.
Some are. No, my customer basically they are all patient because they understand that to get to the level that I want, sometimes it takes much more time. It's not that we are not working on the piece. We are trying to make it better and working better. I mean, because for me, I cannot deliver something that is not working right.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense.
So I prefer to piece some customers sometime for the delay, but as long as the watch don't respect the standards, sometimes they say, but you, like, I can have a baby 1 month before. No, if I need 1 more month, I need 1 more month. And maybe after 1 month, it's still not working right. So I need other time, because it's what I do. I don't take modules and do some. I always try to do something that is new, or anyway is made by me.
Yeah,
it's not taking things from others.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm curious. So you said Grand Sonnerie. What would be your ideal watch if you were going to design a watch that you were going to get to keep and wear? What would that watch be?
Pocket watch.
Okay.
A nice pocket watch, because I love the fact that on pocket watch you can still do glass case yourself on the lathe in a certain way, and very nice, simple tourbillon, big cage. Very classic, very linear, with a beautiful enamel dial, and very classic. But
amazing.
Yeah, I would say something like this. Yeah, but big. Yeah, I would like something big.
So basically, a marine chronometer pocket watch is what you're telling me.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Or what I would like would be a very, very nice regulator.
Regulator.
Yeah,
both work.
Yeah, like some kind of refler on a vacuum tube.
Yeah,
I would like to make something
interesting.
Like this. Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, this I would like also to do a big, nice precision clock. That's fun.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Did you have you made a lot of clocks or pocket watches in your time as a watchmaker, or have you just worked on them from a restoration standpoint?
I worked basically. I work on them for restoration. But I mean, in Italy, on the family shop, we were doing like clocks and pocket watches like every day. And my grandfather was basically this. He said, everything that is modern watches and stuff like this, that the problems and the work is just exchanging parts. We leave it to others. Me and you, we take the time to do pocket watches. Cylinders, we were doing a lot. It's beautiful. And very nice clock.
Yeah.
Because that's also cool. I mean, all clocks you can really still find everywhere beautiful clocks, historical beautiful clocks. And it is also nice because you go to take it in the house of the person, you bring it to your place, then you bring it back. When in Italy it was like this, you bring back the clock, the guy was offering you a coffee, a glass of wine, and you talk together, you discuss together. From time to time, I still remember my grandfather, we went to this beautiful house in nearby where I live, and they have this very nice electrical Brie precision clock. And we went to bring it back, and then he asked to the owner of the house, where you want to put it? And the guy was saying, I would put it in my kitchen here. And then my grandfather was a little bit pissed to say, I mean, a clock like this, I would see, in your living room, you next to it smoking a pipe in a clean and warm place in a right temperature place. I would not put it next to the kitchen full of grease.
Yeah, understandable.
So you participate. So you can participate to the life of the customer and say, maybe I will put it there.
Amazing. Well, I hope we get the chance to actually go look at pocket watches and clocks at some point together, because I feel like you would be an interesting person to spend time with looking at.
I love pocket watch. I love pocket watch.
Me too. So I'm curious to learn more from you on the pocket watch side. Maybe that's episode 2 is the Pocket Watch podcast, but I'm highly aware that you have to go take care of your family. So I have 3 questions that I want to end with really quickly. And we call this the rapid fire round. And I'm curious, do you feel a pull to protect watchmaking?
I think watchmaking should protect himself. I think the person should protect the watchmaker should learn to protect themselves also in the way they choose where to work and how to work.
Amazing. And if there was one thing you could tell people in one sentence about the watch industry or watchmaking, what is it that you wish people knew?
That watchmaking is like all other sectors. That is plenty of interesting things. There are plenty of artisan, but not always what it seems it is. And when luxury and trend get into this kind of word, sometimes it kills the soul of the watchmaking words and other words.
Yeah, amazing. Maybe we'll dive into that in a future state, because I have 1,000 questions, but I know you need to run. Where can people find you, Luca?
They can find me somewhere near between Neuchâtel and Geneva, where we are in a nice castle near Neuchâtel with a beautiful view. And if they want to find me, they have to search. They will find me.
Amazing. Well, Luca, I want to thank you for coming on Forward Momentum today. This has been a great chat. I've really enjoyed learning from you about independent watchmaking, how you became a watchmaker and your family history with watchmaking, and just what it is that you do and why this is so important to you. I think I have a much better understanding of what your philosophy of watchmaking is. And it's been awesome chatting with you. It's just always so fun to chat with you. I feel like we have a lot of laughs and we always find something to joke about. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. For me, it was also a great pleasure.
Absolutely. I look forward to having you back on to talk about all, myriad other things. Maybe not even watches. Maybe just something different. Wine, hiking. I don't know. We'll find something. And I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you for tuning in to Forward Momentum. Thank you to Luca Soprana for coming on the show today. As you heard, Luca is clearly a master watchmaker who is very precise and meticulous about his craft. He has a great story and has a great story about how he became an independent watchmaker. It's not just about creating a watch that has your name on it. It's about learning the skills, the technology, and having the ability to be more self-reliant and to make watches that you believe in. And I think that's a really important story about independent watchmaking. So thank you, Luca Soprana, for joining us today. I've really enjoyed getting to chat with him. I've really enjoyed getting to know Luca since Watches and Wonders this year. He's a tremendous force in the watch industry. He's hard to track down, as he said, but he is a great force. Look for great things coming from Luca in the near future. Thank you very much for tuning in to Forward Momentum. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more of these stories of independent watchmaking. And as always, keep moving forward.